Hyeon-woo Jo had an exceptional World Cup. His South Korean national team did not. But that will not stop potential suitors from seeking the 26-year-old goalkeeper who was named man of the match against Germany. More, knockout round schedule, bracket, and there will be many more. The 2014 World Cup saw names like DeAndre Yedlin, USMNT, James Rodriguez, Colombia, and Keylor Navas, Costa Rica, gain plenty of renown. Here's a list of names who've left the World Cup in the group stage but will certainly have their proverbial tires kicked. Hyeon-woo Jo, South Korea, Daegu FC, and he's humble, to boot. From FIFA.com, I've never had a perfect game like this before, in my entire career, but I wasn't saving all the shots by myself today. I thought the other goalkeepers, Kim Sung-yu and Kim Jin-hyun, were also giving me a hand. Salem al-Dawsari, Saudi Arabia, Al Hilal, didn't see much time on loan at Villarreal this season, but clearly is a player not constrained to playing in his home country. The 26-year-old winger scored, averaged key passes per game, and threw in 2.3 interceptions per contest for good measure. Kenneth Omero, Nigeria, Kasim Pasha, the centre-back registered an assist and played an all-around game for Nigeria. At 24, he should have plenty of suitors. Lee Jae-sung, South Korea, John Buk-hyundai, if the 25-year-old midfielder's status as the 2017 K-League Most Valuable Player hadn't already raised some eyebrows, his job patrolling the center of the park certainly did the trick. Ramin Rezaian, Iran, Ostend, the 28-year-old right-sided man can play right-back or more advanced. Is a bit longer in the tooth in terms of prospect, but a club could do worse in adding depth. Moussa Wagwe, Senegal, Yupin, a 19-year-old right-back whose name was already popping up in the rumor mill. He's going to be carrying even more interest after scoring against Japan. Follow at Nicolas Mendola. We're sure we're missing some, and goodness knows, we didn't spend a terrible amount of time determining the order, so feel free to marvel at these 10 beautiful goals of the World Cup group stage and then tell us which ones we missed and which ones we sorted poorly. More, top 20 players of the World Cup group stage. We know Jesse Lingard, Adnan Januzaj, and Marcos Rojo won't be jazzed with their omissions. Who else is missing? 10. Coutinho to Paulino vs Serbia. 9. Cherishev's cheeky chop. 8. Diego Costa dances his way to glory. 7. Golavin's nasty free kick. 6. Cristiano Ronaldo's nastier free kick. 5. Ricardo Quaresma sneaks a snappy goal before halftime. 4. Philippe Coutinho's beauty against Switzerland. 3. Wizardry from the unlikely boot of Nacho. 2. Banega to Messi, touch, boom. 1. Cruz. Few words needed. Follow at Nicolas Mendola. Well, this isn't easy, Mr. Editor. The World Cup group stage is complete, and we saw some outstanding performances from players in Russia. More, knockout round schedule, bracket, Harry Kane scored 5, one more than Romelu Lukaku and Cristiano Ronaldo. Philippe Coutinho looked like the player Barcelona spent a whole lot of dough for, and Keylor Navas shone in defeat. But what about the lesser-known names? Alexander Golovin went from being linked with mid-table Premier League teams to the wish lists of the globe's top sides. And Irving "Chucky" Lozano delivered on his next big El-Tri-think promise. It's safe to say many of these names will make our 20, but we still had a starting point of 33 names even with judicious trimming. Don't hate, commentate in the comment section below. Tunisia's Wabi Khazri celebrates one of his 2 goals and 2 assists at the World Cup. AP photo, Darko Bandic 20. Wabi Khazri, Tunisia 19. Luka Modric, Croatia 18. Xherdan Shaqiri, Switzerland 17. Yerry Mina, Colombia 16. Kasper Schmeichel, Denmark 15, Victor Claesson, Sweden 14. Lionel Messi, Argentina 13, Kevin De Bruyne, Belgium 12, Carlos Salcedo, Mexico, photo by Buda Mendes, Getty Images 11. Neymar, Brazil, 5.3 shots per game and a thrilling performance should have him in the top 3, but his shameful dive zips him back to here at a minimum. Maybe next round, nay. 10. Ivan Rakitic, Croatia 9. Felipe Coutinho, Brazil 8. Alexander Golovin, Russia 7. Jose Jimenez, Uruguay 6. N'Golo Kanté, France 5. Eden Hazard, Belgium 4. Cristiano Ronaldo, Portugal 3. Isco, Spain 2. Harry Kane, England. Honorable mention, Wilfred Ndidi, Nigeria. Jen Shoji, Japan. Kieran Trippier, England. Casemiro, Brazil. Thiago Silva, Brazil. Toni Kroos, Germany. Artem Dzyuba, Russia. Irving Lozano, Mexico. Diego Costa, Spain. Luis Suarez, Uruguay. Diego Godin, Uruguay. Andreas Granqvist, Sweden. Sardar Azmoun, Iran. Alexander Mitrovic, Serbia. David Ospina, Colombia. Cho Yeon-woo, South Korea. Mohamed Salah, Egypt. Edgar Barcenas, Panama. Grzegorz Krychowiak, Poland. Aaron Mooy, Australia. Kendall Wasstone, Costa Rica. Salem Al-Dawsari, Saudi Arabia. Amin Harit, Morocco. Gylfi Sigurdsson, Iceland. Luis Advincula, Peru. Mbaye Niang, Senegal. Follow at Nicolas Mendola. By now we know the 8 round of 16 matchups, perhaps none more fascinated than France versus Argentina, though Brazil versus Mexico is in with a shout. More, England 0-1 Belgium, but with a World Cup final rematch out of the picture, as well as Germany-Brazil. Which matches do we most want to see in the quarters, semis, or final? 5. Belgium vs. Brazil, July 6th, quarterfinal, cause on this one is strictly for entertainment's sake, and we could also include France vs. Brazil. The free-flowing attack squaring up with rock-solid defense core is an A+ in a neutral's book. 4. Argentina vs. Brazil, July 10th semifinal, St. Petersburg. Should Messi and co. handle France and then either Uruguay or Portugal, the Argentine side could meet a side it took just 1 point from in qualifying. It's more than Neymar versus Messi, but that storyline sure doesn't hurt anything. 3. France vs. Spain, July 15th final, Moscow. Self-explanatory, really, but there's no limit to the fun, which would meet a pair of European monsters in Russia. 2. England vs. France, July 15th final, Moscow. The pressure that would sit on the shoulders of England in a final would be a lot regardless of its opponent, but there's something about a channel-crossing final that would carry a wealth of added drama, yes, even for a final. 1. Portugal vs. Argentina, July 6th quarterfinal, Nizhny Novgorod. You can say this is easy pickings, low-hanging fruit, but ask the average sports fan whether they want to watch the final or Messi vs. Ronaldo in a quarter. We bet you know 90% of their answers. Follow at Nicolas Mendola. Gareth Southgate isn't terribly bothered by England's 1-0 loss to Belgium in the World Cup on Thursday, a defeat which sent the Three Lions into a round of 16 matchup with Colombia as opposed to Japan. More, England 0-1 Belgium. The England manager flipped his lineup after beating Panama and Tunisia, and Belgium boss Roberto Martinez did the same. An Adnan Januzaj goal sunk England, but Southgate gained a bit more from the match. More of his players now have World Cup experience. We've got 20 outfield players that have played in a World Cup, and that's hugely important for the feeling in our camp over the next few weeks. I had to balance that, and I know in some quarters that will be criticized, but I'm entirely comfortable with that. Sometimes you have to make decisions for the bigger picture. England plays Colombia, and a win would set them up for a matchup with Sweden or Switzerland. A win would have given them a more manageable round of 16 match with Japan, but then a quarterfinal against Brazil or Mexico. Ultimately, if one round matters to a manager, then sure, Southgate failed in his bid. But if only round of status manages to your country, then perhaps it's not as big of a contender as it portends to be. Follow at Nicolas Mendola.